Hey guys, hey, what's up? So, my best friend's birthday is coming forth in August, and I decided to make a beautiful crochet sweater top, and this is how it turned out. I love how it looks like. Look at the scrunchie. It's beautiful. So lucky for you guys, I made a tutorial. These are the requirements. You will need two yarns, different colors, and you'll need to do granny squares. So I did mine, and I'm going to show you how many. So I made a total of 42 squares. The cream one is 21 and the brown one is also 21, so that is 42. Yeah, so I arranged the squares in this order so that they form like panels that we are going to work with. So we have 4 panels that we are supposed to work with, as you can see. So now we're going to join each square to form a panel. For example, the front and back panels have got 12 squares, so we're going to join them, each of them, and then the sleeves each have got 9 squares, which we are supposed to join. Okay, here's the front and back panel, and then the sleeves. Okay, so this is now a finished front and back panel which has already been joined, and this is how I'm going to join. So I'm going to move in this pattern that I am showing you, and that is how I'm going to join, but I'm going to show you how I did it. So you move across. From there you're going to move towards this side and then go up and come down using the cream one and move to this other end, and that is basically how we're just going to do it. Okay, it's very simple if you have grasped it. So I hope you have seen the pattern that I'm working with. And the good thing is that we're going to just use single crochets to join the whole of these squares. That is why they look the way they look. We have not used the one for the clusters. Okay, yeah, and without further ado, let's get into it. So these are the squares, and this is where we're going to start at the very bottom, like the pattern that I have shown you. Okay, so remember, we're going to use single crochets throughout to join the squares. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the chain 2 space and just pick one of the stitches like that, and then I'm supposed to bring up a loop, but I haven't made a slip knot yet, so that's a slip knot. And then I'm going to pull up this loop into the stitch. So I'm also weaving in the ends as I go, so each time I meet an end I'm going to weave it in to reduce the time spent while weaving in, right? Yeah, so I'm going to chain 1 and then start making single crochets in each and every stitch of this side of the square while weaving in the end. Okay, so that is a single crochet. It is not very visible, but if you know a single crochet, that is what we are doing in each and every stitch of one side of the square. Okay, so I'm just going to make single crochets on that square, on the 3 sides of the square. So you will try to be very keen, especially in the chain 1 spaces. You have to ensure that that space is also accounted for. You have to place a single crochet in that space. Okay, in the stitch I was working it in the stitches. So I have gone all around through the whole of these 3 sides to make single crochets, and that is how they look like, right? So in the chain 2 space here, I went ahead and did only one single crochet. I did not move to the next one. So from there on, I'm going to move to the next square, and the next square I'm going to do single crochet to join using a single crochet, not in this the last one, but the second one. Yeah, there. So there is where I am going to make my first single crochet. So pull through these 2 loops, and then in the very first space of our last single crochet, you're going to bring this loop up like so, and then we are going to move to our first the one that I'm showing, our first double crochet of the cluster. So you're going to do a single crochet there, and then move to the next single crochet on this other end of the brown square, and pull up the loop like so. Yeah, so that we have worked on the first stitch of the first double crochet. Okay, so we're moving to the second double crochet stitch. You're going to bring up the loop, pull through the 2 loops, and then you're going to go into the second, the second single crochet, and pull up the loop, and then we move to the third one, the third stitch, make a single crochet, and then in the third stitch of the brown square you make you bring up the loop. Okay, and then into the chain 1 space, make a single crochet, and then into the next single crochet you're going to pull up the loop. So we are working on the brown side, we have single crochets, and this side we have stitches. Okay, and don't forget the very first stitch of the cluster, the very first stitch of the first double crochet. Okay, so just repeat what I'm doing in the video. Yeah, that is how it looks like. So you will have to ensure that each side is aligned with each other, like each cluster has to align with each other, and the spaces have to align with each other. Okay, so you have to check every stitch and ensure that they are aligned. So I went ahead and finished the 2 squares, joining the 2 squares, and now I'm going to move across the cream square with single crochets in each stitch of that side. So here I am just trying to finish the last cluster with the other cluster of the brown square. So just ensure that each stitch is aligned with the other stitch, so that you don't get a square which is not very linear. Yeah, that is how it looks like. And then I'm going to work single crochets until I reach this other side of the square, of the cream square. So I'm going to work single crochets in each and every stitch. Do not forget any stitch. That is what you need to be very keen with the stitches in this pattern. So just check how I'm working on, at least the cream yarn is visible, so at least check how I move through the stitches, and you will follow the same pattern while making yours. And guys, remember, if anytime you find a loose end, you have to ensure that it's gone. Weave it in, and this will make your time, it will easen your time, okay? Because you will not have to weave it in later on. So that is what I was doing, and it really turned out nice. So in the chain 2 space, just remember to move to only one stitch, and then you're going to move to the next square. Do not move to the second stitch of the chain 2 space, okay? Now look, we have joined the 2 squares, and now we are going to go ahead and join the third square. So we are also going to get to the nearer stitch of the chain 2 space and get into it. So this is not very visible, but I know you now know what we are doing. So in the first single crochet, you're going to pull up the loop, pull up this loop in the very first single crochet, and then move to the first double crochet stitch, make a single crochet and bring up this loop, and then move to the second stitch and make a single crochet and then bring up the loop in the second stitch. So in the brown one, we make a single crochet in the third stitch, and then in the third stitch of the single crochet, you also bring up this loop and move to the chain 1 space. Okay, you just have to ensure that they are aligned. So when you move to the first space of the chain 1 space, you also move in the space in the next single crochet of the chain 1 space of the cream. So I don't know if you understand, but I hope that you see the video, what I'm doing in the video. So I'm going to continue and move ahead and make single crochets. So after joining those two sides, now we are just going to make single crochets. Remember the one that we did in the cream yarn. So we're going to move ahead and make single crochets in these two sides of the brown yarn, okay? Just ensure that you're making each single crochet in each stitch so that you are aligned. So I have gone ahead and made the single crochets until this point here. So remember to only go into the first stitch of the chain 1 space and then move to the next one, to the next square. So this square, this is the last square from the bottom. So in this chain 2 space, this is the stitch we are working in. So you insert your hook and make a single crochet, and then in the very first single crochet that we made of the brown square, you're going to pull up this loop and then go ahead into the very first stitch of the cluster, the one on top of the first double crochet, okay, this one. So you're going to go in and make another single crochet and move into the second single crochet on this other side and pull up the loop, and then move to the third one and on and so forth, okay? And do not forget the chain 1 space. This chain 1 space is very crucial. It is very easy to forget. Do not forget. and also the first stitch of the first double crochet of the cluster, the one that I am moving into right now. This one I'm just pulling a loop, and then the first one, this one is which I'm talking about. Okay, do not forget that one. So I think now you can see what I've been doing, and now I'm just going to go ahead and continue with this pattern and then show you. Yeah, now we are done with that, and I'm supposed to go ahead and do single crochets, and then we are going to join the next row. So this is how we are going to go. That is the pattern I'm showing you. And then up and down, down, up. Yeah, so let's see how it goes. So I'm going to go ahead and do single crochets in each and every stitch of this side of the cream yarn. Okay, so we are moving to the second row of the squares, and this is how I'm going to join. It's just the same thing that we have been doing, so don't think it's very different. It's just that we're moving to the next row. So I'm just finding my first the stitch nearer to the cluster, so that I make my single crochet and continue with the same pattern. Yeah, so I'm going to continue with the pattern this way, and then I'm going to go up with single crochets alone, and then come down joining the cream yarn. Okay, so the cream yarn is already joined, so I'm just going to show you how I move to this next side, where I'm supposed to join the cream yarn with the lower square. So just watch the video keenly. I don't know how to explain this one, but just watch the video. I hope it will show you some what I did in this corner. But I'll just be ensuring that each stitch of the upper square and the lower square is aligned with each other. Okay, So the pattern remains just the same way that we were doing, and we'll just be ensuring that one cluster of the cream square is aligned with the cluster of the brown square on the lower side. Okay, it has to be very seamless. Okay, so I'm going to leave you to continue doing that. The pattern remains the same, and this is how I'm going to go. So be keen on checking the pattern on how I'm going to go about it. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I'm going to move from the second row to the third row up here. Okay, so from this end here, we're going to go up with single crochets and move across the cream yarn and then back to the brown yarn and down that way. And then from the brown yarn, you're going to move to this brown yarn on the lower side and then go back and up and move to the other end with single crochets and across, and then to the cream yarn again, and then back with the brown yarn and move across. That is just the pattern. Okay, and to the brown yarn and to the cream yarn, back and back and move ahead, and then from there you're going to just join with single crochets all through. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and do that and also show you guys each step of the way. Okay, don't worry. So if you somehow get stuck in doing this, I just made this to help you out if you get stuck. Okay, you can always come back to check each and every step. I made each and every step using single crochets. So that's how you join your squares as you go with single crochets. I really love how it looks with the single crochets. I don't know how you guys find it. You can tell me in the comment section if you also love this method. Myself, I think I've fallen in love with it. It's beautiful, and also it's a little bit tedious, but look at how neat it looks like. It's really nice, right? Yeah, so that's the results. So guys, on the sleeves we're going to do the same thing that we did on the back and front panel. The only difference is that now we are working on 9 squares instead of 12 squares. Okay, but the pattern is very same, and the work that will be on you is ensuring that they are very aligned. Look at this is what I mean by alignment. Okay, you have to make sure that they're this way. Yeah, so this is the final look of how the panels have been joined. So the only thing left is to join the panels to form a beautiful sweater. So we have the neckline, we are going to make a turtleneck, and we also have the cuffs. Okay, now this is how we are going to join. The front panel and back panel are together, and then the sleeves, that is how we will join them together. Okay, So let me now quickly show you the measurement of the front and back panel. It is almost 21 inches, and then I'm going to leave at least 8 inches in the middle of it. At least they are square, so it is easy to know. I'm going to leave at least 8 inches for the turtleneck so that I can join from there onwards, okay? Yeah, so I've gone ahead and marked the points where I'm going to leave as the turtleneck, and then I'll sew the other parts that are left of the shoulders, okay? Okay, now as you can see, I've already marked the turtleneck parts, and you have to ensure that you're working on the wrong side of the panels. So I changed all of them on the wrong side. So the sleeves, that is how the sleeves is going to be joined to the panel, okay? So these are on the wrong side, all of them. So this is how I am going to sew from the wrong side, okay? So this is going to be the shoulder part. I have gone ahead and sew it on the wrong side using single crochet, so you're going to do that on the other side also. So let me show you from the other side how I did it, okay? So it's just single crochets, there is no any new stitch. So just try to ensure that they are aligned, the panels are both aligned with each other, so that there will be the element of linearity, okay? So here I'm just making a slip knot, and then I'm going to pull the loop that I have formed. I'm going to pull it up through these two stitches of the back and the front panel, and then I'm going to work single crochets to join the two panels on the shoulders. And guys, I know that the video is not visible enough, and it's because I'm using a brown yarn, so it's very difficult to see what I'm doing, but I'm just working on single crochets and making sure that the loose ends are also weaved in, okay? So if you know single crochets, that is what I'm doing. I'm joining the stitches together and aligning them, and I'm using single crochets. Yeah, so these are the two panels joined together, and that is the area where the turtleneck is going to be. So we are moving to the sides. So the sides, I'm just finding the middle part of the front and back panel as I have marked there. Those are the middle sides, and these middle sides are where I am going to start working my sleeves, okay? So you have to mark it on both sides, on this side and the other side also, okay? So from there on, that is where the sleeve is going to start from. So I'm going to mark from here. I'm going to do single crochets in that part that I have shown you, and then I'll join the sleeve onwards and move to the other side using the two panels, okay? Yeah, so remember we are forming a sweater here, so with that on your mind, that is what I'm doing. So it is do as you go. Yeah, so now I'm going to just start making the single crochets and making sure that both the panels are very aligned. So I'm going to do that until I reach the points where I have marked, and then from there I'm going to join in the sleeve. Yeah, so as you can see here, the side is done, and I've reached the point where I'm going to attach the sleeve. Remember, you are attaching the sleeve from the wrong side, okay? So I'm just removing the stitch markers and then I'm going to attach the sleeve from there, just one side of the sleeve, because the sleeve will go all the way to the other side of the other panel. Okay, so just check what I'm doing. So now I am going to attach the sleeve to the first panel, which is either back or front panel, with single crochets. Okay, so I'll just show you what I'm doing on the video. So because the sleeve and the panels are not directly aligned, you just have to ensure that one cluster of the sleeve is also aligned with the one cluster of the panels. So the middle of the sleeve, that is in the middle of the 3 squares, is where you will have your shoulder point. Okay, so that is, you will go round, but the middle point of the sleeve should be aligned with the middle part of the 2 panels, which is the shoulder part. Okay, so that is what you're going to do as you go all round with the single crochets. And each time you find a loose end, remember to just weave it in to reduce your time. So at this point I've gone all round and back to where I started. Now we are on the other side of the other panel. Remember how we from where we started here. So we are not going to cut off the yarn, we're just going to continue and join the sleeve together, right? So this is the sleeve. We're just going to go ahead and join it in. Right, so this is how it looks like when you have joined the whole part. So let me show you again how I went ahead with it. So I started from here and joined the sleeve on the 2 panels, and then I joined the sleeve on its own that way. Yeah, so that is what I have done. So now we're going to take the yarn and pass it through the arm, this sleeve here, because we want to work on the cuffs, and the cuff we are going to work on the right side of the sweater. So I'm just going to turn this sweater on the right side so that I can work the cuffs. The cuffs I'm going to work on the right side. Okay, Scooby Scooby. Yeah, so that is how I turned my sweater to the right side, and look at the seaming. Look at how we joined it. Really looks nice. Look at that. See, it is very visible. Okay, so now let's get to the cuff. So what I'm going to do first is to make single crochets. I just want a very smooth base, so that is what I'm going to start with, to make single crochets all around. I know that they are not visible, but please just look at what I'm doing if you can see. But I'm just making single crochets. And then I'm going to finish the round with just a simple slip stitch. So now starting with the round 1, we're going to chain 2 and then start making double crochets, but we are skipping 2. We are skipping 2 stitches, and then we make 1 double crochet in each stitch. So you make 1 double crochet and then you skip 2. It will depend on how you want your cuff to fit the wrist. So mine, I'm going to skip 2 because I want to reduce the number of double crochets. Okay, so I'm doing 1 double crochet and then I skip 2 and then do another 1 double crochet until I finish the whole of this round, and then we slip stitch to finish off the round. So you're going to slip stitch on top of your very first double crochet. On the second round, we are going to do something different. So after chaining 2, you're going to do front post double crochet like I'm doing in the video, and then the next one you do a back post double crochet, and then the next one you do a front post double crochet and continue with the same pattern. So you do a back post double crochet and alternate with a front post double crochet. Just like that. So I'm going to do that the whole round and I am done. And then I'm just going to finish the round. After doing the back post double crochet, I'm just going to finish the round with a slip stitch. After the slip stitch, again you chain 2, and then where you did front post double crochet, you're going to do front post double crochet. And the next one was a back post double crochet, so we do a back post double crochet, and we continue because that is the pattern. So where you have done front post, you do a front post. Where you have done a back post, you do a back post double crochet, and continue with that until you finish the cuffs. So I'm going to do that until I make at least 10. So these are 10 rounds of doing front post and back post, and that is the ribbing effect that it has created. It really looks nice. So guys, I did something different on the lower side of the sweater down here. I did 4 rounds, is it rounds? Yes, 4 rounds of double crochets without increasing or decreasing. So I just did 4 rounds, and then on the third round I made a string. I did along with a string so that I can pull it, you see, so that it is adjustable. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to show you guys before I move to the turtleneck. So let's get to the turtleneck. So first of all, I'm going to make single crochet all around and then finish off the round with a slip stitch. So that is just to form a uniform base. From there onwards, I chained 23 and then did half double crochets across.
life just passed us by. 'Cause we weren't meant to be, but you still got a piece of me. Ooh.